Hey everybody, welcome back to Mike's Wooden Things and Stuff, and welcome to what I hope will be a new monthly feature here on the channel. It's Q&A with Mike. You guys do the Q's, I'll do the A's. I'll let you know a little later on in the video how you can get your questions answered in a future episode. But for today, I've got my starting list from my friends over at patreon.com/woodenthingsandstuff. To get the series started, we're going to be talking about how I got my start in woodworking. Things to think about when you're buying your first lathe. I got a design inspiration question. I've got a question about what goes on in terms of post-production between making the stuff out here in the shop and the video hitting YouTube. I've got an interesting question about soup sandwich combinations. Yeah, we'll have a chat. You guys asked, I'm here to answer. Let's get into it. Come on. So the first question this month comes from my friend Peckerwood Customs. And I'm going to roll in a couple other similar themed questions into this too, because Chris Pinnell and Matt both also asked about sort of why I got started or how I got started in woodworking. But Peckerwood Custom asks, as a kid, did you have aspirations to become a woodworker? And the answer is absolutely not. I didn't grow up around people making things or working with their hands. I was well into adulthood before I realized that that was a thing that would be cool. I don't even really know where my artistic bent came from. I tell you what, I'll never forget the look on my parents' face. When my parents only have one face, by the way. The look on my parents' faces when I told them that I wanted to go off to art school. But I had an artistic bent growing up, and I wanted to become an artist. And then let's fast forward to 15 years later, and I'm working as a newspaper journalist and realizing that I don't have enough art in my life, and that I used to really like that. And so I wanted to get back into painting. But the price of stretched canvases was outside my budget, or at very least, I was unable to justify the cost of stretched canvases to paint on. But I realized that I could get a miter saw for like $150, and I could buy 1x2s and skinny plywood and make my own wooden boards to do painting on. I could paint on wood panels. And so I did that. And then I realized that making stuff out of wood was pretty cool. And so I started making a couple more things, and then people would ask me to make them things, and they'd pay me money, and then I'd put that money towards more tools and then make more and better things, and that money could go towards more tools, and I built my shop up that way, and it just kind of got out of hand. That's really the story. And so, no, I didn't have any aspirations of becoming a woodworker, and I kind of fell into it by accident, to be honest. Okay, so question number 2. My friend Paul Waldrop wants to know, he says, being a first-time lathe buyer is a daunting task. It's true. It can be. How big of a lathe do you really need, and how powerful should it be? This is a hard question to answer because it's a cliche for a reason. People say you can turn small things on a big lathe, but you can't turn big things on a small lathe. And that is absolutely true. Having said that, there is, in my opinion, sort of a diminishing return on your investment going bigger. Because really, unless you are getting into big turning all the time, you don't need a big, like how many 16-inch salad bowls does a person need? This many. So buy one from somebody that makes those. You know, don't spend the extra numerous thousands of dollars maybe to get a big ginormous lathe so that you can turn a couple of extra 16-inch bowls, I guess, is what I'm saying. I like the MIDI range of lathes. So this is my Nova Comet 2. I have a Laguna 1216. I have a Rikon 70-100. They are all in that MIDI category. So the MIDI range of lathes, things that are considered MIDI, have around a 12-inch capacity over the bed and somewhere in the neighborhood of sort of 14 to 20 inches of capacity spindle length. I think that's lots for most people to get 98% of their turning done. And for that extra 2%, you have to decide if those possibly thousands of dollars are worth it for you. I don't think horsepower needs to be a consideration. If you buy a lathe from a reputable tool manufacturer, that's key. Don't buy lathes from companies like Weaver and stuff. You go to a reputable manufacturer. A reputable manufacturer is not going to put a motor on a lathe that isn't capable of fulfilling the capacity of that lathe. If they do, they're not going to be a reputable manufacturer for very much longer. The only time, yes, I have bogged down my lathes to the point where if it had more horsepower, it would not have bogged down. But you know what else fixes that? Sharpening your tools goes a long way. Every time I've bogged down a lathe, it's been because I wasn't sharp enough and I was trying to take too heavy a cut. Start with your budget, because like many things in the world, tools tend to be a get what you pay for kind of situation. So determine your budget and get the highest quality lathe you can get within that budget. That doesn't mean size. It means quality. I would rather have a smaller, higher quality lathe than a bigger, lower quality lathe. That's just me. I don't know. You feel free to disagree. You can leave your recommendations for specific lathes down in the comments if you have them. I can't say for sure where you should come down. I just think that quality is more important than size. Horsepower shouldn't matter if you get it from a company that you should get a lathe from. Okay. Matt Sherburne. What inspires you for cabinets and other woodworking endeavors? Are there any people who are greater inspirations? Inspirations. I mean, I tend to pull in inspiration from a lot of people and a lot of places, and then they just kind of get like mashed around in here. So sometimes I don't even really know where those inspirations came from. I just know that I saw, like a lot of times I'll remember an element that I saw in something, or I'll be watching a YouTube video, or I'll see an Instagram post and I'll like a particular element of something I see. And I'll go like, ooh, that would be fun to play with. So like, for example, my most successful design ever, and probably still my most favorite piece of furniture that I've ever made, or one of them anyway, is my Unity coffee table. And that came from just wanting to try a floating top on a coffee table, because I saw one and I was like, that looks neat. And so I thought, well, what if you did a floating top on a coffee table, but then the legs came up sort of through the corners? And in my head, that sounded neat. So I tried it and it worked awesome. It worked really well. And so I think my current cabinet style, where one drawer of them is a different color, we're made out of a different material, I think that came from Matt Kenny, maybe? But I don't know for a fact. I just know that I saw it one time and I was like, that looks cool. I like that. So I pull a lot of inspiration from a lot of different places, and sometimes I can't even pinpoint where it was, but I just know that I try to take in a lot and then I let it do what it's going to do. And then however it comes out, sometimes it's really not successful the way that it comes back out, but that's just part of it for me. So I don't know if that really helps. I don't have like a list of names or anything for you in terms of like my inspirations. I enjoy everyone's designs on their own merit. Everybody who makes things, I love it. I love it. And I just bring it all in and just let it stew and see what comes out. Sean McGill, what has to happen between filming and when we see the final product on YouTube? Is there a lot of post-production work, or is it a relatively simple process? I don't really like the editing. Some people who are on YouTube or do content creation or whatever, they actually enjoy the editing process and the process of putting together a visual story and all that stuff. That's not really my thing. I don't hate it, but it's not where I want to spend my time. So I do a very minimal amount of editing in terms of fancy. I don't do any sort of fancy special effects, obviously. You've seen this show, right? And I don't do a lot of cutting and zooming and things. I do a little bit just when a shot seems like it's stagnating a little bit. I don't want it to be just a stagnant, flat shot. Like I'll do stuff like this to emphasize something and just have it be a little bit of a visual interest thing. Sometimes I'll do like a slow zoom in on a shot just to make it feel like the camera's moving a little bit and stuff like that. But I don't do a lot of that, and I try. I would like to say I'm getting better, but I might not be. I try to only film what I'm going to need to create the final video, so that I don't have to do a bunch of cutting and editing and things, and I can just kind of like this, put them together with a fade in between them, and then off it goes. But I do a little bit. It's not a huge ordeal, but I wouldn't say it's a relatively simple process either, just because first of all, I have to convince myself to go sit at the computer for a while, and that's not an easy thing for me to do these days. So yeah, I don't do a lot, but it's, I do as much as I feel like each video needs. Probably not a great answer either, but I don't know. Let me know if you want more detail than that, or if that kind of gets the point across. I don't do a lot of edit work because I don't enjoy it. If I liked making fancy edits and things, then you'd see more fancy edits, but it's not really my thing. It's not really what I want to watch on YouTube, is fancy editing and special effects and stuff. So it's not what I want to make either. Brad Pinnell with the last question of the day, and possibly the most interesting one. If grilled cheese sandwiches are so perfect, does that make tomato soup their soulmate, or just a clingy sidekick? Well, Brad Pinnell, first of all, your question is based on faulty logic. The grilled cheese sandwich is not perfect. Okay, let's start with that. It is a very good sandwich. But first, you got to start with, there are two types of grilled cheese sandwich. There's the good type. No, they're both good. There's a good grilled cheese sandwich where you make it with real cheeses and multiple different kinds of cheeses on like artisanal bread that's a really high quality. And then there's the type of grilled cheese sandwich that is often what I want personally, which is the cheapest white bread you can get at the grocery store, buttered on the outside with 2 Kraft singles on the inside. And that is when I want a grilled cheese sandwich, when my body says, dude, you really want a grilled cheese sandwich right now, that's what it's telling me I want. And it's because that's what I grew up eating. That's the grilled cheese sandwich I grew up with. And the perfect soup, first of all, tomato soup can suck it. Tomato soup is terrible. If you like it, everybody can like what they like, but if you like tomato soup, there is something wrong with you. I'm okay with there being something wrong with you, but tomato soup is terrible. If you want thick tomato juice, you eat your thick tomato juice. You go ahead. The best soup with either of those kinds of grilled cheese sandwich is actually the Campbell's vegetable soup in a can. Personally, you're supposed to add 1 can of water to the can of soup when you heat it up. I like to do about 1.5 cans, and then I add some spices and things. I add a little bit of cayenne and some chili powder and some garlic powder, and then I boil off that extra third of a can of water, and I let all those flavors all intermingle. And that, for me, is the ideal soup to dip a grilled cheese sandwich in. But everybody can like what they like, but if you like hot, thick tomato juice, you can have it. You can have mine, even. Okay? That's it for this one. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe, everybody. If you want your questions answered on the show, the first questions I pick every month will be from my friends at patreon.com/woodenthingsandstuff. I will not apologize that I give them preferential treatment. They pay me money. I will answer their questions first, but leave your questions down in the comment section on this video, and yours will also get in the lineup to get answered in a future episode. Let me know if you like these videos, or if you think that they're nonsense and they're a waste of time. Let me know that too. Do it nicely. But, let me know what you think. There's only a couple of rules that I have for questions. And the first is that they don't need to be about woodworking. They can be about whatever you want to ask me. I am an open book. I'm happy to share whatever. Make sure that the questions are family friendly. Just consider, would you ask me this question if I was sitting across from you in your living room and you were sitting next to your 6-year-old daughter? Happy to answer any questions that you would ask in that situation. If they are about woodworking, make them questions that don't need a demonstration. I don't think this format works real well for full-on demos. That'll be a different format type situation. So if it needs a demonstration, maybe it's not the best question. But that's it. Leave them down in the comment section below. Like I said, I will always go to my paid subscribers over at Patreon first, and I make no apologies for that. But I'm happy to answer questions you guys leave, and let me know if this is a thing that you think is valuable or worthwhile doing. I'll do these as often as... No, I won't. I was going to say I'll do them as often as you guys want me to, but don't let them decide what you do. Who are they? It's not up to them what you do with your life. That's it for this one. We'll see you for another one in February, unless there is a huge uproar about how this is a terrible idea. All right, stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. See you next week for something else. Because I'm doing weekly videos this year, remember? Remember in the resolutions video? Bye for now. Hey everybody, welcome back to Mike's Wooden Things and Stuff, and welcome to what I hope is going to become a monthly series here on the channel. It's going to be a series of Q&A videos where you guys get to ask me questions and then I answer those questions. Well, obviously, it wouldn't be a Q&A if I didn't answer the question. Settle down. Come on. It felt like I was talking a little fast too. Hey everybody, welcome back to Mike's Wooden Things and Stuff, and welcome to what I hope will be a new monthly feature series. Monthly series. This month we've got questions on how I got into woodworking, buying your first lathe, tips and buying your first lathe. We get some tips and that was okay. Hey everybody, welcome back to Mike's Wooden Things and Stuff, and welcome to what I hope will be a new monthly feature here on the channel, which is a Q&A, where I answer questions from you. Professional. everybody, welcome back to Mike's Wooden Things and Stuff, and welcome to what I hope will be a monthly... Hey everybody, welcome back to Mike's Wooden Things and Stuff, and welcome to what I hope will be a new monthly feature here on the channel. It's a Q&A. It's a questions and answer time with your friend Mike. You guys do the Q, I'll do the A's, and we'll have a great time together. Yeah. All right, let's talk about lathes. My friend Paul Waldrop says... Is that a gray? Is that super gray? You are getting old, my friend. Okay. As a kid, did you have aspirations to become a woodworker? Absolutely, positively not. I did not grow up around people who made things. My dad was an accountant. My mom was a legal secretary. None of my friends had parents that made things or worked with their hands at all, even. I had a couple of friends that had dads who worked on cars and things, but that's about the extent of the experience I had as a kid around people who made stuff or did stuff. They did. Everybody does stuff. What are you talking about? I wasn't around people who did stuff. Whew. It's a Q&A. You guys do the Q's, I'll do the A's, and we'll have a good time here on the channel. I don't know. Just figure out a different way to say it, dude. They all sound stupid. They just sound stupid. You sound like an idiot. Hey. Yeah, it's lots of bloopers. Like, people love the bloopers. They're gonna love this one. The 7-minute blooper reel at the end of the... Hey everybody, welcome back to Mike's Wooden Things.